Well, welcome to another fun and exciting episode of Seasonal SlumpBusters. I'm Jeff Harrison.
And I'm Andrew McCauley.
Andrew, it's been a fun week. We're pretty lucky here in the desert. We're in the desert of Southern California. We've experienced some really neat weather. So has that gotten you to do any extra stuff outside?
Not more than normal, except swimming in my pool earlier in the morning. But you're right, Jeff. It's been an interesting week as far as I've been going. As far as I'm concerned, it's been an interesting week in terms of education. I've been educating some private clients too this week, and it's not rocket science that I'm teaching, but it's stuff that's boils down to consistency. And if you're consistent about what you're doing, these guys are finding it a lot easier to actually move forward when they're being consistent rather than being haphazard. So it's been a really interesting week for me.
Do you think sometimes, Andrew, your private clients, they look at this and say, hey, we're going to get started. We're moving from, I'm going to say, a static website or brochure into an actual moving website, an engaging website. And then they're also thinking, hey, I got to get all this social media thing going. And they feel like there's so many moving parts, they don't even know where to go first. I mean, does that ever happen?
Oh, it doesn't happen. It happens all the time, Jeff. It's one of the biggest hurdles to most people moving forward online, because there are so many moving parts and there's so much information out there that they don't know where to start. Mm-hmm. Like, where do I start to learn? And then, am I even starting at the right point? And is there a starting point as well? Because often there is a starting point for maybe traffic, or there's a starting point for social media, there's a starting point for building content. Where do you start? Which one needs to come first? What is the very, very, very starting point of all of that? And at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. There is no real starting point. It's just get started is the biggest point. And a lot of people won't even get started because they think it's the wrong point.
Yeah. And we talked yesterday morning during the Sunrise Business Mastermind program about using the tools that are online and available for small and medium businesses on the cloud, and how beneficial that is. And I know sometimes, that resistance to get started is not only, God, it's so overwhelming, but financially it's a pretty heavy burden, and I think that's a nice step to go towards as well. So when you do this, how much time do you spend, or the process, if you will, kind of an overview, before you even go forward, what kind of, I'm going to say, intake information do you get?
Well, I guess it's important to find out what are the goals, what they want to do. I mean, I can go and teach somebody to get on Twitter and start using it, but if it's not going to match what their goals are all about, then what's the point?
Yeah.
So first they want to find out what is it that they want to achieve, why do they want to do it. I've even had clients who are getting on a specific social media platform because everybody else is, and it's not even relevant to their market. So it's like, if your market's not on there, don't go there. Don't waste your time. If you don't have a very picturesque business, for instance, so you're not doing a lot of graphic. Let's say you're an accountant. There's not a lot of great graphical stuff that comes naturally.
Graphs and charts. What are you talking
naturally, about? There's not a lot of. It's graphs and charts great for accountants, but it's not good for other people generally, right? So if it's not a graphically inclined business, then Pinterest may not be the right avenue for you. But having said that, LinkedIn may be the perfect road. But you've got to look at what is the perfect road for you. Where are your target market hanging out? And in actual fact, even if they are, some of them on Pinterest, if the percentage of them is so small, then don't waste your time as well. So really look at what is the best value for your money in the first place.
So is it fair to say then, when you're working with clients, you kind of reverse engineer it?
Yeah.
You say, hey, who are you? But really, what's the goal? Mm-hmm. And then find the right avenue to go there.
Exactly. Yeah. So recently I had some clients that wanted to get in contact with their target market. So we did an analysis of where are they hanging out, what are they doing, what sort of shows and TV shows do they like, and it boiled down to the fact that there was a lot of them on Pinterest, which was interesting because they weren't expecting many to be on Pinterest. And a lot of them used to be on LinkedIn, but now they're not.
Oh, wow.
So it's changed. So it's like, well, let's change the emphasis on what we're doing for you. So it was an interesting start to what they wanted to find out.
How exciting! So it's important, I think, to when you're going at it, not so much going at it alone, but reach out to somebody like Andrew or myself or Amy or somebody out there that says, you know, they've got an interest in the game from a standpoint of they understand what that target market looks like and where they're hanging out, and then the best way to communicate with them, right?
One of the other big things that we're finding right now is that people are being overeducated as well. There's a lot of education out there. There's a lot of courses you can take and that sort of stuff. And people are, okay, we'll buy another course. But how many times do they get through the course? How many books have you got on your shelf that you haven't read? I mean, I'm guilty of that too. Always good intentions, but not actually following through. So, you know, some of these clients are like, look, we know we need to learn it. We don't want to do a course. Just, we're going to pay you more money, but come along, hold my hand, take me through it real quick, do 101, and I don't need to sit there and watch videos, just take me through. And because sometimes some of the stuff you need to do is only once, like set up and get established. The ongoing stuff they'll need to learn, but take me through it, get me out of that phase so I've got the ball rolling, and help me avoid the traps that most people get to when they in that startup stage. So it's been interesting to see people wanting to cut through the education process at the start.
Do you think they've reached that tipping point of where they said, I'm just going to we had a sit yesterday morning, I won't get into it, but we want to do it ourselves, and then they look back and they're going, okay, I got to get back into my business. I've got to run my business. Or I have to get started. And finally they say, enough is enough, let me hire somebody, let's get going.
You know, I don't think they're at that tipping point yet because...
Pain's not there yet?
No, that's right. I think that's it. The pain is not there. It's not until they have to go through it themselves and they've gone through so far that it's probably too late to go and get somebody anyway because they're almost there.
Yeah.
Or they just don't want to admit that they're wrong to anybody else because they've spent all this time, money and energy doing it. So they're like, no, I'm not going to give up. I guess that's the reason why gyms are so effective as far as memberships go, because it's like, you pay your money for a gym. No, it's not going to defeat me, even though I haven't been for 3 months. I'm still a member. I'm still going to get there.
Because I am a member.
And people don't want to admit that they've made a bad decision, so they keep paying the money.
So that's interesting. Well, let's keep an eye on that, kind of a thumb on that, and see where that pain point is. Because again, you're in the market every day, I'm in the market every day, and we get to see what's really happening out there. And we're going to talk about something today. We're going to talk about our BSO. What does that BSO stand for?
BSO, Bright Shiny Object. So this week, you've got the special Bright Shiny Object this week. Give us a rundown of what the BSO is.
Yeah, I'm going to have to take my glasses off. So
it must be serious.
Yeah, it's, you know, last week, accidentally, Slingshot came on the air, and it was available, and it was only for like a couple hours in a couple different countries like Australia and Russia, and they found out that it launched too early accidentally because probably somebody accidentally flipped a switch or whatever. They're probably testing. It's not uncommon. But what it is, it says Facebook is ready to take on Snapchat with a new is that ephemeral? I like that word.
However you like to say that.
It's a messaging app for the second time, and what it does, it basically allows us to send messages or photos or videos to our friends, and it's almost like a Mission Impossible thing. Hey, once you watch it, it's like it's gone. But it has a little different feature, and it's a lot like Snapchat, which has some of the same features. Where do you see that going, Andrew?
Well, I think, Jeff, we've spoken a little bit about this in the past, but images are everything these days. Everyone understands the value of how we as a race now are sharing images more than anything else. You know, we've had the buyout of Instagram. You know, Facebook paid $1 billion for Instagram because they knew how powerful Instagram was. And then they offered Snapchat $3 billion, and everyone's like, that's just crazy. But what was crazier, the guy from Snapchat said, no, I'm keeping my money. Everyone's scratching their head thinking the guy's an idiot. Well, it turns out that a few months later, Facebook paid $19 billion for an app called WhatsApp. Now, WhatsApp, everyone in the US and Australia scratching their heads a little bit thinking, what's this WhatsApp? But in Europe and Asia, it's a massive, massive app. In fact, it shares, it's a messaging app, a bit like Snapchat if you like, but it does a lot of image sharing too. And what happened was that WhatsApp now shares 500 million images a day.
No way.
500 million a day. Facebook and Instagram combined only share 450.
Wow.
So it's actually bigger than Facebook and Instagram combined.
And we haven't even heard of it here in the US.
Hardly heard of it over here, no. So the big thing is that everyone's looking at Facebook thinking, why are they making these ridiculous purchases? But they understand that the market that they're looking for, the target market, is on these image sharing devices. So they understand that if they're not going to be on Facebook, they're going to be on something else that Facebook owns, Instagram, WhatsApp, and this new one called Slingshot. So I think that's where it's at. People understand. Look, we look at the rise of Pinterest. Pinterest came on the scene and just went to the roof, and everyone loved Pinterest. There's other sites out there like House that is all about house, great, interesting things that feature in a house.
Right.
So there's a lot of image sharing sites. People can see where it's going. So, and especially Facebook. So I think that's why they're coming up with these new apps. And this Slingshot app, it's got a funny feature, as you said. It's I don't want to.
No, it's okay.
Give them a run and tell us a bit more about Slingshot.
Well, when you send something through these instant messages, if you will, this one has an interesting feature because if I sent you a picture, video, or comment using Slingshot, you can't open it until something happens. I'm kind of holding you hostage. What is that?
It's interesting. There was a lot of talk about this when it came out that. Instead of making things easier, they've made things harder, which is the reverse of what we're expecting. Snapchat, the way Snapchat works, if you don't know what Snapchat is you take a photo, and if I send you a photo, you look at it once, and then as soon as you close that window, then you can't see it again. It's gone, disappears. So Snapchat is one of those things. I have sort of love-hate relationship with Snapchat because I have my phone on silent a lot. We're filming now, it's on silent, and I'll forget that it's on silent. So I'll go and watch somebody's video that they've sent to me, and I'm like, oh no, it's silent. I can't hear it again. I missed out on the entire video. So, what Slingshot is doing, as you said, is if I send you a photo, you can't unlock it until you send me one back. So they're forcing two people to make content creation, if you like, which is like interesting. The other cool thing though that they've introduced, which they haven't done for Snapchat, is they let you send a photo to all your friends.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
So you can send. Well, I think it's interesting too. You can send an image out. Now think about this for business. You've got a list of people on your network, and you're like, okay, I'm going to send out an image of my business, and I'll send it out to everybody, and then only the people that send things back get to see what you've sent them. Now, would it work? It's going to be interesting to see if that works for business. And
that stays on their phone or their device for 30 days
right.
before it goes off.
Right.
Now, I have a little theory here, and it may be on target, it may be off target. We'll find out. But I think the reason these major mega businesses are pushing these instant messages so hard that then the product, if you will, the messages disappear, is for space. Mm-hmm. Instead of saying, hey, we're going to hold these on our servers indefinitely, they're saying, it's starting to stack up. Mm-hmm. We need to get rid of some of these. So I think they're doing it from a space standpoint. It's interesting that they said, okay, it's 30 days instead of 7 days or 10 minutes. So that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
So that's a BSO.
We'll watch that space. It'll be interesting to see how businesses use it. We looked at some great examples. I was looking at some great examples when Snapchat came out because I'm like, how can businesses do this? But there are clever people out there that can make it work. So let's see how it works.
Yeah, I think that's great. So we have some great guests today.
We do.
Yeah, and they own a business here in the Coachella Valley, and they're a new business, but they're seasonal businesses. And the cool thing about it is they've discovered how to take, I think, things that they're very good at and they love to do and turn into a business, and then I want to say almost immediately seem to recognize, Andrew, that in what would be their off season, they could do something different with their, I'm going to call it their brick and mortar. All of a sudden they go from selling surfboards to skis and stay productive. So I'm looking forward to talking to them about that.
All right, well, should we bring them on?
Let's bring them on.
All right, let's do it. All right, while we bring those guests on, let me give you a quick rundown about Autopilot Your Business. If you're looking for website development, online strategy, or even social media assistance, come and check out autopilotyourbusiness.com. We are there. We will answer your questions. We'd love to help you. autopilotyourbusiness.com.
Well, welcome back. We're here with Dean and Kay of Sun Chaser. Tell me exactly what it is.
Sun Chasers Home Watch.
Sun Chasers Home Watch. Now, I kind of did a little introduction, but take a minute and tell us a little bit more about your business and what drove you to get involved in it.
Well, we we're semi-retired. We recently bought a home here in the Coachella Valley. Came from another part of Southern California, and we decided that we wanted to keep working. And plus we've owned a couple of properties here in the past as vacation properties, second homes, if you will. And we remembered issues in the past when we weren't there at our home, where things came up that we didn't know about until we got back there. So whenever you leave your home for extended periods of time, we figured it would be nice to have somebody sort of checking on it for you while you're not there.
Okay.
And that's kind of the seed of how it got started.
So you kind of saw a need, and you're filling that void.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Now, Kate, your business, your background is in business, and so what did you think about this whole idea? How did you fit in?
Well, I worked for 25 years as a professional. I'm vice president of a company, and I'm semi-retired at this point. However, during that, I started thinking about my second career and graduated from interior design school and home staging school, and I've always been very, very involved in properties and homes and that type of thing. So it fit very well with me because by owning vacation properties before, I really saw that not only the home watch interior of the property, the exterior, but to advise clients on how they can freshen their property after they've been gone for maybe 6 months, come back and get a fresh look. And I can assist with that. And I saw a real need, and everyone seems to be reacting to it very well, that they have someone. We can also do concierge services, do some shopping, arrange for cleaning of their property, and even rearranging furniture in a way that would be more attractive, and
So
if they're going to rent it.
So if I called you and I said, hey, let's say I live in, Salem, Oregon, and I said, listen, we're coming down next week. Here's a list of food and things, provisions we want in the house. We want to put some new flowers in there and make it look like we've been there because we're bringing guests. You can do all of that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And, we would spend a little bit of time getting to know you and what you're looking for and the property itself, and do some advice. Because sometimes it's very simple things that will make a difference and make your guest or yourself, when you come back to your property, feel very comfortable and clean, and we can arrange, cleaning services. And if in the home watch service, if we find that something has gone awry that you're not aware of, we will alert that and bring in the contractor with your approval, of course, and get that fixed for you. So when you get here, you get your golf clubs and go have fun.
You don't have to start fixing things up.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Now, Dean, you have you kind of have a little nickname, Mr. Fix-It, I understand. So how much do you get involved in those little fix-it type of things?
We do offer handyman services, and and I've done that over the years. I'm pretty good at fixing things around the house and those kinds of things. I also work at Home Depot part-time right now, so that helps out a little bit. So I've always loved working with my hands. So
do you run any of those little training programs on Saturday mornings?
Actually, I have a couple of times.
Okay, all right. So he's an expert.
Yeah,
Well,
an expert.
Good.
But the cool thing about our partnership is that with Kay's ability her design talents and those kinds of things, that's certainly one aspect. My ability to get involved with troubleshooting problems around the house, plus our combined experience as previous business owners and other things, I think lends us the ability to be a really viable eyes and ears while you're away from your home.
I remember back in the early 90s when I was in Arizona, and I remember in the golf industry we had a gentleman who, he was retired, he was kind of the cart guy, and he started taking care of homes at that time. We had a lot of Canadians coming in, so he'd take care of their homes like $50 a month, and he had like 100 just like that he was taking care of. But his whole thing was, hey, he's going to come in twice a week, flush the toilets and make sure there's no leaks, and that's it. But I sense you guys offer way more than that. Is that true?
We feel that there's, we want to be unique, we want to offer something that's a little bit different than what the average property manager handles for folks. And so we've really thought it through. And, you know, the fact that we're a little bit older and, you know, we understand what they need, I think. And we let the property owner manage the funds and the revenues with the client. So all we're handling really is the service itself, greeting them and greeting the owner and the vacation renter, so that they feel at home. And then they have a local contact that they can call. And Dean has had many calls so far where they say, you know, oh, the jacuzzi's not working, how do I fix it? And he'll just run over and help them out with it. And then they have a great vacation. And that, for the property owner, that's very valuable.
Totally.
So we're trying to be unique.
And I should sort of interject here that we see to talk about the busting the slump, if you will, we see our business as a two-part business. During the season, here in the desert, the season is during the winter when the weather is so beautiful and so many people come in from Canada and the northern states and whatnot. And they're chasing the sun, and they come to visit, and so that's during that period of time we offer our services as home vacation rental management.
So in what would be our high season,
Right.
where we have all our guests come, that could have been your off season.
That's right, and it was until we started thinking, well, geez, you know, we can offer services to both kinds of customers, if you will, and that's why we thought that we could be a two-season company.
Yeah, so when you do that, when you take on that role of a vacation rental property manager, if you will, now are you taking the funds and collecting as far as getting them in the property and getting them out and cleaning it up and getting ready for the next guest? I mean, tell me a little bit about that process.
Well, we don't, at this point, we don't handle any of the funds. The homeowner is responsible for getting the customers,
okay,
and taking the payments and those kinds of things. And we work on a percentage of the rent basis.
Okay.
So what we do is we greet the guests when they come in and give them a tour of the house and make sure that they're comfortable and make sure they know where all the switches are and all the the remotes and all of that kind of stuff. And when they're done, we meet them and send them on their way and make sure that their stay was good, and we get the property ready for the next guests.
Now, so, you know, I know we talked before off camera, you know, that you're not a seasoned business, but you're a newer business.
Right.
That is this coming into the summer now, this is when traditionally, this is your busy season?
Well,
Because this is when all the people would normally be leaving the valley, so you need to take care of their homes while they're gone.
That's right, and to put them at ease while they are in Canada or wherever they are and they own their home here. But since we're new, this is our first season of really we've got clients that are fixing their homes and having us check on different things, but they've also had many renters coming in now on the big seasonal things that happen from the film festival through to the BNP tennis tournament.
Right.
Those type of clients that are coming in and out. So that was a busy in that season, and now watching the properties that are sitting empty, and you know a lot of them have security systems, and so we're educating them and saying your security system is going to alert the police if the house is broken into, but what about inside if there's a leak or there's something that's happened, we can oversee that. So yes, it's busy.
Yeah, I know this is kind of a new process for you, but what's kind of from a business standpoint, what's the biggest snafu you said, geez, I learned from that, I'm not going to do that again? That maybe anybody watching you say, that fits for what I do. Is there anything like that? I hate to say biggest screw up, but kind of maybe that's what might have happened.
So far, we really haven't had a lot of experience with that. However, I think we are finding who our market is, and determining who is actually going to be our target and who is going to send those customers our way, and how we get to them. And right now, we belong to the Realtors Association and the referrals from realtors and that sort of thing. So I think we're adjusting that, and that if that's a mistake, it's not really. We're just learning that.
Okay.
That we're finding out who is actually going to, where we're gonna find our clients, how we're gonna get to them. And that's something that we're learning as we go, and we're kind of adjusting ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah, we really, I can't really think so far of any major mistakes that we've made. There's been a couple of stumbles along the way, but nothing that I can really point to. We're just, our experience, we've owned other businesses in the past, so starting the business was not that hard for us. Building the website was something that we sort of struggled with in the past. And one thing I can tell you in terms of learning experiences from past businesses, I'm a guy that I kind of like to do things myself as much as possible. I like to learn things. And we talked about this yesterday morning.
Right.
And I decided this time, look, I don't know how to build a website. That's not going to happen. So thankfully, we found a guy that's actually built other websites for businesses like ours. We're a member of the National Home Watch Association,
Okay.
and which is a national organization, and there's a lot of home watch companies similar to ours around the country. And this website guy has built a number of those kinds of sites, so he understands our industry. And I think he did a great job with our site.
I think your site looks beautiful. We have that on behind us here. We just kind of had it running in the background. It's really pretty, and I like the fact that there's some movement on it.
Right.
And it's very easy to navigate. The colors are very, I think, attractive and warm and
thank you.
friendly. So yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
It looks very good.
So we had him build the site, and that went very well, and we're real pleased with the results. And he also built us a Facebook page, which I have no clue about yet, and I've got to learn about that. So
Slingshot. No.
we've got a page, but I haven't done anything with it yet.
Yeah, good.
So
Good. So it sounds like your biggest challenge then is, hey, identifying the perfect customer. Probably not so hard, but where are they?
right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
How to reach
We
them.
even know kind of where they are. I mean, I'm pretty comfortable with where they are. It's just how to reach them is really the key.
Social, I tell you what, the social networking, especially like something like LinkedIn, may be a great opportunity for you. A lot of times you have a higher end client, more CEO, CFO kind of clientele there, which I would think is more in your business. I might recommend jumping in there to LinkedIn and start putting dialogue on there of here's some of the challenges. I mean, I can share one story real briefly. When I remember a dear friend of ours, Canadians, they came back from the from the summer, and they walked in our house. There was 186,000 gallons of water had leaked over the summer in their home. Nobody was there, right? So of course the home was destroyed. So now they got the home fixed. They went back and they live on the island in Vancouver Island, and they had floods there, so now their home back there have been flooded.
Oh my goodness.
So they got double whammied, and from this point on, they've always had someone that does what you do. And so, there could have been a couple of things that, could have prevented disasters, because if you're walking, you see, this was the one, 186,000, it wasn't even like a broken pipe. It was a drip, drip, drip
Yeah.
that eventually took over the house.
One of the first questions we get from prospective clients is, well, we've got a security system and we've got guards at the gate, what do we need you for? And
There you go.
And I always tell them, look, the guard at the gate, even if they drive around the property, they're going to be on the street. They're not going to be inside the house, and they're not going to see when mold gets started from the leak.
They're not paying for
that. That's right. They're not paying for that. And the security system will only tell them if somebody breaks into the place.
That's right.
So, that's where we come in.
Yeah.
One of the other things we've done is a lot of research as to what this business is about. We spent many months doing research and understanding what they needed. But one of the great features that we have that's unique to us, because it's just been launched, is a web service. You can maybe tell them about the quick.
Yeah, it's, we are participating in a software that allows us to report to our customer base, and the software is a QR code based software. Those little square
Love
things
those
that you
QR codes.
scan with your phone or with your iPad. Well, what we do is we print a CRID out for each one of our customers, and we put it on the property. So when we go to the property, it's a GPS-based software. When we go to the property to do our inspection, we just scan it with our phone, and it automatically opens up the software, And we haven't agreed to, I should preface that the first thing we do when we meet a new customer is we go and sit down with them and we find out exactly what kinds of things they're concerned about. And a checklist. And we make a checklist of all the things that they want us to do at their property and check. And so when the software pops up, it has that checklist that's pre-configured based on the customer's needs. And we check it off as we go around the property. And then we file a report automatically. So they know, because it's GPS based, they know that we've been at the property. And it's GPS based within 100 or 200 feet of their property. So it won't let me into the report software unless I'm actually at the property.
That's great.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So they
They
can.
feel very at ease that we are there and how long we're there. And then the other feature on that is the camera.
And we can take pictures if there's any issues with a broken window or a leaky pipe or a toilet that's overflown or whatever it is. We can take a picture and send a report immediately to the customer. And they send back, well, go ahead and get my contractor to fix it. Which is the other service that we can offer is we'll be there for the contractors when they come in to do the work. And we let them in and we make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing.
So it sounds like you guys are then on the cutting edge of what you're doing, and you have some neat tools that, as you say, people make a decision based on differences, not similarities, and those are some neat differences. The one thing I want to share with our audience is the fact that you have said, hey, you started out mindset, hey, we're going to be home watch when you're not there, and realize this other opportunity of helping vacation rentals get their clients in there and almost take them to, like, I'm going to say, a high-end resort hotel kind of feeling. Hey, I don't have to fumble with the keys in the dark by myself. Somebody's going to be there to help me and walk me through and show me how to turn the spawn, that kind of stuff. So, well, I can't thank you both enough for coming on the show today. Great information. Tell us how they can get a hold of you if they want to know more information.
Well, they can go to sunchasershomewatch.com. That's our website.
All one word.
One word, sunchasershomewatch.com. And our phone number is 888-551-8355.
Well, gang, thank you very, very much. I really appreciate it. I
Thank
shake
you, Jeff.
hands, but we have a little bit of a bad wink. And I hope you'll come back and let us know how the summer, maybe we'll have you back in the fall and you can tell us how this new venture went in the summer.
We'd be very happy to do that.
All right.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right.
All right, so a little bit about Swing Point Media. We are a company that we develop videos for businesses, a lot like Sun Chaser. In fact, we did their video and they have an opportunity to share what they do through video, and then we help them get onto the front page of Google using simple videos. So welcome back. What did you pull out of? What kind of nuggets did you pull out of that conversation?
I love the fact that they've got two seasonal businesses in one. It's really good that their main business is about to start really kick in when everyone's gone. That's their main business, but they were able to use the off season, so to speak, for other parts of their business, which is really, really good. So I really like the way that they did that. And one other thing that they mentioned briefly was that they educate their clients in certain aspects, and I think that's a very important part to really building that relationship. So education is a good part of educating their clients about what they do, how they do it, and ongoing education could be an important thing too. So,
can I ask you a question about that? Is that an opportunity, and I haven't looked at their blog, I'm looking at their site. I don't see a blog up there. But is that an opportunity they could put a blog on there and write content about that helps attract that kind of client?
Yeah, I haven't looked at their site either, so if there is a blog, I'm sorry guys.
I'm just looking here, I don't see a blog on there.
There's a blog.
And it's not available yet.
So they're working on it, but it's definitely a great opportunity, and that's a really good point for anybody is, you want to have a blog so Google love you anyway, but having a blog is going to be great for educating potential people. We all know that you do your research before you even speak to the people, before you even dial anybody, you're going to go and check out who they are, what their website is, what they're doing on social. So a blog is going to be a great way to showcase what you know and how you do it. Things that Dean could do, he's a great handyman sort of thing. He could just do little articles about how to fix a broken pump or a toilet seat or something like that. So it may not be, it may not be specific to anyone, but it's general information that, wow, these guys know how to do all that as well. That's a really good idea. I want these guys to be able to help me, because if I do have a party that someone breaks something, this guy can just fix it without having to go through a whole bunch of contractors.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Would they, I'm sorry to interrupt, when he writes those articles about, and I can see him actually using maybe video, put a little video on how to,
Totally.
but then loop it back into it and say, and these are the kind of services that we offer our company.
Exactly.
So you're really
Exactly.
kind of double hitting that.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, all right,
It'd be
great.
almost like, you know, I can see Dean being on the video himself because he's a likable guy, and people want to know who they're dealing with. You know, hey, it's Dean here with another household tip for the summer, sort of thing. You know, here's how you do whatever it may be. And by the way, this is all part of what we do as part of our service. So, you know, it could be a great way to really get that connection with people so they get to know who he is.
Love that.
And one of the things that I do love that Dean was talking about was he knows what his strengths were and knew what his weaknesses were as far as building a website. And I love the saying that, you know, you want to focus on your strengths and outsource your weaknesses. So don't get stuck on that crappy stuff that you don't like. If you don't like it, get someone who does it. Because there is someone who likes the things you don't like somewhere in the world.
Totally.
Get them to do it so you can concentrate on the things you like.
If you don't believe that, there was a show on TV that was, you know, that I think it was something like called the crappiest jobs
Yeah.
on the planet. And there are people that actually did
I
that.
know.
And so it didn't matter. You're right, there's always somebody out there.
Exactly.
Anything else?
You know what? I think that was the only other thing that I really did like is that they're adjusting themselves through. They're learning new things, and they're not set in their ways. They don't have a specific preordained idea of what they want to do. They're adjusting, and they're willing to say, "Hey, we're adjusting. We're moving with what we need to move with." So, I think being flexible in any business is really important.
I love that. Great feedback. You know, I think I can hear somebody over there either taking notes or they're really thinking about what you just said. Those are great points. So tell us a little bit about SCORE before we wrap up today.
Sure. So SCORE is it's a nationwide organisation, and there's I think there's 13,500 volunteers who volunteer their time with over 350 different SCORE chapters around the US. They offer mentoring services, workshops, and all that sort of stuff. But here's the cool thing: is that all of these people that are mentors have been in business themselves. They're now retired, and they're looking to give back to the community. So they spend their time mentoring business owners, new business owners, old existing business owners as well, so that you need to bounce some ideas off your mentor. You can do that. You would look at how to build a business plan or get a better business plan, how to go and get financing for your business. There are people in SCORE that can help you do that. Score.org is the main website. This particular chapter we're coming from is scorecv.org. Check it out. As I said, they're doing all sorts of workshops. You and I are involved in workshops. In fact, we're going on the road tomorrow to do a workshop up the mountain a little bit, or the hill. And so they do all these fantastic workshops, and it's really a great organisation. So go and check it out, scorecv.org or score.org for the national edition, the national chapter.
Well, Andrew, thank you very much. I think it was a great show. Any parting wisdom before we sign off today?
Do it. Just do
I
it.
like that. Do it. Well, folks, thank you again. I'm Jeff Harrison, and my co-host
Andrew McCauley,
with Seasonal
SlumpBusters.
SlumpBusters.